Hi everyone, that's Brandon.
That's Jamie.
And we need movies. This is a show where we talk about the movies of the week, the news of the week, trailers.
Movies I bought.
Yeah, it's always him. And we always have a topic at the end of the show, and this week's topic is Best Ensemble Cast in light of the recent release of The Magnificent Seven.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun to stay tuned for that. But we always start out with what we've seen. So Brandon, what have you seen this week?
Well, we start out with theater releases, so I did check out 2 movies in theaters, actually. The first one was Blair Witch. Jamie, did you get a chance to see Blair Witch?
Did not.
Okay, first off, I just want to know, what are your thoughts on the Blair Witch Project?
So, the first movie I was like, oh, this is alright. It's kind of cool, creepy, little edgy vibe to it, like, you know, back then. Because initially you didn't realize it was fake. It was a big viral thing where it's like, is this real? And then I went into the movie knowing it was fake. And had a good time until the end. I was really pissed off at the end. Like, he's just fucking standing there. Like, what is he doing? Didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, why is that scary? Why is that the ending? And then the second one came out, Book of Shadows.
Yep.
And because they did like a traditional movie format, it wasn't like found footage, I kind of liked it more.
Wow.
But that was just like me as a dumb kid.
Okay.
So take that with a large grain of salt.
Okay.
And then, so I was really excited because Adam Wingard is the director of this. Simon Barrett wrote it. They have this great like thriller horror history they've built with You're Next and The Guest. We've talked about ad nauseum here. And when they revealed The Woods was really Blair Witch, I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
First one was okay.
So to me, I never saw Book of Shadows. I just heard it was terrible, so I stayed away from it. I saw the first one back when I was a kid, not in theaters, but when my dad bought it on VHS. And I already knew it was fake, but I didn't get it as a kid. I didn't get that it was really scary, and I didn't really get what was really even happening, like, because it was the first real found footage popular movie established to the mainstream audiences. So I didn't really get too much. Then I rewatched it, and the first time I rewatched it was probably 5 to 10 years after that, and I watched it on a portable DVD player with the sounds, like the speakers on. Dude, there have been few movie-going experiences that freaked me out that much. Like, that one was like one of the rare ones that, like, I went to bed that night and kept hearing noises and shit, and like, I don't know why. Maybe it was the way I watched it. But I've watched it several times since, and I think that is a really well done, it's a really well acted movie. Like, the fact that people even bought the fact that this could be fake is a lot due to the performances that don't get talked about, and those actors never went on to really do anything else. But they were great in it. All right, and enough about the Blair Witch Project, but safe to say is I really like that movie. Like, that movie has grown to me to be one of my favorite horror movies. Like, I really enjoy that movie. Yeah. So I was never really looking for another Blair Witch film. I thought that it was a movie of its time. It really couldn't be recreated. There's no reason to go back to it. Then when I heard that The Woods was actually Blair Witch and it was by these 2 guys, that's the only thing that interested me about it. I saw the trailer and I wasn't really impressed, but I was like, you know, it was something about this, they'll get it right. Dude, I was so bored during this goddamn movie. It takes like an hour for anything to fucking happen. Like, so this is my big gripe with a lot of found footage movies. And it was like huge in this movie. It pissed me off so much. As the audience, you're operating under this like premise that someone has gotten this footage and cut it together. Someone has, okay? Because you're not watching just hours on end of just static shots. Raw
footage.
Okay, yeah. So someone's cut that all together. They implement cool new ways, like a drone, which is cool. They use a drone. They use these cameras that attach to your ear so that they can have conversations cut back and forth.
Oh, wow.
So someone's done that, right?
Sure.
Why is it then that there's probably 10 to 15 minutes, no joke, of just like shaky like footage of a tree focusing, and then I'll cut to another scene. They're like transitions. I get why they put them in there. Why the fuck would an editor put that in there if it's like they cut everything else? There's literally so many shots, like, why? That's just padding runtime. That's literally, there's nothing. It's just like focusing on a leaf, and then it'll stop, and then it'll cut to someone like foot walking, and then a muffled like shotgun hitting. They do, instead of using jump scares, because they don't have a score, you know what I mean, because it's all found footage, they use jump scares with people bumping into each other. It happened, I shit you not, at least 10 times, where the shotgun will hit off someone, will just make this loud like, oh, hey, how's it going? It happened literally 10 times. I was like, this is getting fucking maddening. Wow. And that was the only thing like keeping me awake. Those sounds were like, because I was like, oh, fuck, all right, we're still here. You don't like the characters. Like, the things I will praise about it is the third act is pretty good. And the soundscape, the people who did the sound design, fucking like, my hat's off to you, because they did a great job at establishing some really cool. So there's some really cool stuff towards the end. It presents some ideas that if they went that route, like, that would be fucking awesome. And I don't want to give it too much away because it's still in theaters, but it involves like the sun never rises and certain things, like they're like, we've been out here longer than we really should have. This doesn't make any sense. Like their watch will say like it's, you know, noon and it's pitch dark out and they don't understand what's happening. So it's kind of the woods as a character manipulating them and how they're perceiving things. But instead of going that route, they pretty much just remake the first film's ending. Like it's almost identical to that ending, except with a few different shots. They show you a few glimpses of the Blair Witch. And so I wouldn't say, I don't know if it lives up to, I guess, what you have in your mind, but it's kind of cool. It's a cool idea for what they present. It's just a lot of wasted potential. And I liked the implementation of the certain couple new gimmicks that they added to it. That was kind of, I guess, inventive, but for the most part, it's just really, really boring. Until that last act, man. That last act is pretty decent. And like I said, the sound is really well done.
So in terms of remakeability, is it really like kind of shot for shot? Because I remember the first movie being really boring for the first, almost hour.
Yeah.
Is it that so most of largely the same?
Yeah, but I would say even worse. I mean, I would say that this one definitely goes further with their scares toward the end. Like, it's not you just walk in and a guy's standing in a corner. They definitely build up this third act. It's not as well acted as that first film, and you understand, like, so the premise is that it's the brother of Heather in the first film going to investigate 15 years later the disappearance of his sister with his group of friends. One of them's making a documentary on him doing this. And so I didn't mind that premise. I like tying it to the first one, but it really was just so many shots of just people wandering through the woods. It just got so boring.
Now, in the landscape of found footage, had it been its own thing, the woods, never been a Blair Witch sequel, would that have been a better thing, or probably would have been worse? Because
you would have just been like, this is exactly like Blair Witch. There's so many similarities. I wish they would have just shot a movie in the woods with regular cameras and made a story around that, because some of the stuff in here is really creepy with how they establish the woods looks is a character really in this, and I like that about it. There's some pretty cool gnarly shots with some practical makeup effects that are pretty cool later on in the movie, but in comparison to other found footage movies, it's fine. Like, found footage horror movies are like, most of them are absolutely terrible, almost unwatchable, just boring, terrible shit.
Right.
This one, I would say, I would put it up there with like Unfriended. Like, it's fine, fine, but it's not a movie I plan to ever revisit. Like, I would watch the Blair Witch Project again around Halloween time, because the soundscapes in that movie, it just gets me in a creepy mood, even if I know it's fake, even if I know everything. That movie, I think, is just, it's well made in that respect, and I feel like these guys kind of just didn't deliver on the setup. But then again, I don't really think a lot of other filmmakers could at this point. I think it's just tired, and we really don't need it. I want to see these guys do more stuff like The Guest in Your Next and original content.
I get so fucking tired of the cliche. It's like we should have woken up after Cabin in the Woods. We still have not yet.
Oh, right, yeah.
Snapped out of our horror bullshit. And it still makes a lot of money.
Yeah, this one actually was disappointing. It came out $9 million. They've already made their budget back, but so I mean, they could technically make a sequel if they wanted to. But this doesn't hurt the original film at all. If you are a huge fan, you may like it more. I feel if someone never saw the Blair Witch Project, they just saw this movie like a kid, like a teenager, they'd probably dig it.
Sure.
But if you have fond memories of the first one, I didn't like it that much.
I watched the better film, I think, Seed, The Untold Story.
This movie doesn't even have a poster on the Fandango.
It doesn't?
No.
That's really sad. It's a cool poster, actually.
Okay.
It's a documentary about seed storage, food seed banks, and companies like Monsanto and other chemical companies like Dow trying to own a patent on seeds. And it's a very cool idea. It's alarming how much they said we've lost 94% of our populations of seed varieties.
Terrifying.
No, like they're showing how there's like so many different asparagus from the last time they conducted a seed study in '83, so before I was born, and then since then, how many are left? And there were like 55 different types of asparagus. Now there's only one asparagus left. And if we lose that seed, we're
no more
we can
asparagus.
never pee smelling weird again.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, you probably could, but not the asparagus way.
No, exactly.
Half of our audience is like, I want to hear them talk about fucking X-Men and shit.
Yeah. So I liked it a lot. This is really the first doc I've seen in theaters.
Ever?
Probably since An Inconvenient Truth.
Okay. Gosh, I'm trying to think of a movie I saw, like a document. So few of them are around, I guess.
Yeah. It's cool.
Nice.
It would have been cool to go see.
I saw the trailer for this. It looked pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It did.
Shot beautifully. Like, they have, like, cool, like, shots of, like, the food and stuff. Looks so nice.
I also checked out Hell or High Water, finally.
Finally?
Yes, I finally saw it. Dude, Loved it.
Hey.
It's fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, terrific performances. Gosh, man, it just felt so lived in, and that town felt like a real town. And growing up where like places like me and you did, there's a speech that I won't even really say who gives it or in what regard it means to the plot, but there's a speech that a character gives about what it means to be poor and how it's passed on from generation to generation. It's a sickness, and like the motivations in the movie make sense. Mm-hmm. The plan makes sense for these two brothers that are robbing banks to pay back a bank for foreclosing on their mother's property, and there's stuff on the property that they want to keep, and it's like it's a lot that the filmmakers don't give you all at once. It's slowly revealed throughout the course of the movie. Jeff Bridges was really good, and his relationship with his partner is great.
Yeah.
And what I love the most about it is it follows your typical arc. I guess you kind of see where things are going, like, oh, there might be a shootout. There've been talks about this thing, the typical route of a heist or, bank movie.
Right.
But it doesn't go for those moments that a normal Oscar bait movie or whatever would milk for a full scene of like a certain characters dying and characters' reactions. But they feel so much like that character's like they freak out and then they're like, holy fuck, that guy's dead. I got to do this other shit. Like, it's not like to sit there cry and they have a final speech moment. Same with another character, like their demises and what happens are so underplayed and nuanced and subtle, and that's what I loved about this movie. It wasn't flashy, it was very to the point and gritty and lived in, and it's one of my favorite movies of the year. Yeah,
and I mean, like I spoke to that recently, but yeah, the lived in aspect of it, the world building, I mean, like I said before, every supporting character has like this depth to them.
Yeah, you were talking about that waitress. I didn't know what you were talking about. She was fucking hilarious.
I know,
so
right?
Funny, yeah.
I know, like really every person, like down to that. Well, both waitresses, even the waitress at that first diner, she had a good moment about her strife, and it was really cool, and I love that movie.
Very good. So. What'd you watch next, Jamie? Is this a rewatch?
No, I did watch one I hadn't seen before. I've been waiting to see this forever. It was the fifth film, I think, fourth, from Nicholas Winding Refn, Only God Forgives.
Oh, you saw this.
Dude, have you ever seen this?
Yes, I have.
I thought it was great. See, I thought... Okay. So, going in, I knew that Ryan Gosling, again, didn't have a lot of dialogue, and it was really sparse and weird and not received well critically or really financially. And knowing all of that going in, it's like when I watch the Turtles movies. That's a terrible analogy. Like, I had a good time, and it was beautiful. Every shot, you could freeze frame every one of the fucking 24 frames a second, and it was a piece of art. The lighting, the cinematography... the compositions sometimes are a little weird, but it kind of added to the whole idea of like being an art piece. And Ryan Gosling's character is really weird. Like, I like it for the sake of its style and for its lack of storytelling.
Okay.
But I get why a lot of people don't like it. Mm-hmm. But it was a really good movie. I mean, it was really beautiful, and I kind of got lost in the world of Thailand, and it was kind of cool. That's all I got.
I saw this when it first came out.
Really?
As I was riding off the fumes of Drive.
Yeah.
And I remember sincerely disliking this movie. I haven't seen it since, and every single time I pass it by at like a Bull Moose or something for really cheap, I would watch it again. It's a movie that I want to see again to see if my opinion changes on it, because I remember loving the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Loving the performances of the characters are pretty decent. Like, right. I like Kristen Scott Thomas is like crazy, but like sort of sexy and weird, and like the whole thing's strange with her relationship with her son. Ryan Gosling's really good in it, obviously, and like the guy who plays the lead villain in the movie, he's great. But I also remember like it just being so pretentious. It just felt so hollow. Like there was no substance to any character, or like they didn't really. Like, he may have had this whole world set up in his mind, but what he showed was just, like, everyone was so one note, and, like, they didn't react to things that I thought, like, normal humans would do. And I don't know. I love the color scheme. You're right. Every shot was beautiful. And I loved some of the fight sequences, but also some of them are like, what the fuck is happening? Why are they doing this? Like, it pissed me off. The ending was kind of like, it comes out of almost nowhere, and then when again, I don't know, man. Yeah. It's a movie I would watch again, though. Dude, I do remember the scene with the hands in the chair, the knives going through. That's some pretty intense shit. Scene. Yeah, there's some good scenes in there. The scene direction what Refn gave the guy who played the villain, he's like, "You are God." That's all he told him. Mm-hmm. And like he had this he exuded this power, but yet this calmness to his power,
And it was really weird how he portrayed it, but he was like one of the most engaging characters he was the most engaging character in the entire film.
By far, yeah.
And I wanted to see him win, whatever that meant.
There's also a documentary on the making of it that his wife made, and I guess it like ruined him. The entire like process of making this movie was like so hurtful to him, and like I guess it was so exhausting, and he went through a crazy like depression, and weird shit happened during the filmmaking of this. It's a pretty interesting story. I'd like to see the documentary, but again, I do plan on watching this sometime again soon. I watched a movie I rewatched that we watched for the first time last year for Halloween. I rewatched it again because I just wanted to watch the practical effects and whatnot, and that is
Reanimator?
The Fly.
Okay.
David Cronenberg's The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis.
Yeah.
This movie, I forgot how short this was. It's like 93 minutes. It's in and out. It's very concise. It starts off with him immediately like
the party.
Yeah, and it's just like go.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I like the perform. Jeff Goldblum in anything is watchable. I love Jeff Goldblum, and him in this, he's extra Goldbloomy.
That's the pinnacle of his performance.
Yeah, he's beefcake Goldblum. Like he's pretty ripped in this, and sweaty. He's sweaty all the time.
Yeah.
But this won Best Effects, I believe, or Best Makeup Effects at least, at the Academy Awards back in, this was like the 80s, right? 86, yes. Amazing practical effects. They still hold up. They're weird looking, but they're so unlike anything you've really ever seen in a movie before that you buy it. Him turning into a fly. It's pretty crazy stuff. But if you're into body horror, or if you haven't seen any and you want to check out one, this is like the pinnacle of body horror movies. I
rewatched 2 movies back to back. The Scary Movie 1 and 2.
Really?
2 Punch. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I watched Scary Movie 1 for my blog. I've been so far behind on. I'm like 4 weeks behind. Fuck. I was kind of looking for a movie at home that I had that I wanted to rewatch, and you'd give me them. I think you had bought a combo pack or something.
On Blu-ray. Yeah. So you had the other Blu-rays. Yeah.
So I took. Thank you. But Scary Movie 1 is surprisingly holds up well in terms of how smart it was, and it is the best parody film that's actually labeled as a parody. Since the older films, like since Airplane or Blazing Saddles or Spaceballs, because this film, and then of course devolved and with every sequel and then date movie and all that shit, but it was so biting. It had the plot of like I Know What You Did Last Summer and then Scream mixed together in a way that made sense, and then made fun of other stuff. Like it didn't go over the top right away like the later films did. And there were some really funny, dirty jokes, but there was really funny, like, clever nods to horror films, and I had a great time watching it again, I gotta say.
I love Scary Movie. The first Scary Movie is hilarious. It still holds up. I love that whole genre they're parodying, and I love those films that they're making fun of. Yeah. The fact that they pretty much, for the most part, stick within the horror genre to parody, that's why it works well. It's not what the later sequels did, which is just poke fun at entertainment and what's popular at the time.
I hated that so much.
Yeah. The first movie's definitely the best one. And I would say the best parody since, Naked Gun or those movies back in the day.
Sad, because we need more.
It's true. Scary Movie 2, I have not seen in many years. I remember, oh my God, that movie, right off the bat, The Exorcist scene.
Yeah, that was what the start of it, really. It started to parody things it had parodied the Nike commercial.
Charlie's Angels.
Oh yeah, Charlie's Angels, that's right. Yeah, and all these weird things that didn't make sense in the film because they were popular at the time. It's like, fuck. But it was still pretty funny.
There's still a few like David Cross and Chris Elliott, the little
Tim Curry.
They're funny. There are some funny bits in that movie still.
And they took the characters that were already established in the first movie and really took them to a new level, like Ray being gay and like Brenda, just like his relationship with Brenda. Like he's like into it, then he's not. And he's like. Here, I warmed up for you. His best seat in the house when the wheelchair rolls over. Lands on Ray's like second best.
I think the scary movies are kind of movies though that if you didn't watch at the time or if you didn't grow up in that time, if you were to watch that now, I guess you'd really have to know those references. I think to find it funny. Like I think some of those jokes may fall flat, but
sure.
For anyone who grew up in that time and has any knowledge of that horror genre, Scary Movie for the first one definitely.
Yeah.
Well worth your time. Very funny.
Fun.
The last thing that I watched this week, dude, I finished I gotta just plug this. The American Story, The People vs. O.J. Simpson. I don't watch many shows. I watched Fargo. I watched True Detective, Breaking Bad. I choose my shows very specifically because I like shows that are much like movies, just able to expand on these characters more. This was a 10-episode miniseries on FX. Just won a shit ton of Emmys.
Yeah.
Best Limited Series, over Fargo season 2, which I thought was pretty crazy. But this is phenomenally acted, so well written, and it just tells you the story that you saw in the media, and even if you didn't, it shows it from so many different angles and aspects that it doesn't tell you how you should feel. It just gives you all this information from all these different sides.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they do with season 2, because this is from the guys who did American Horror Story.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be an anthology series where they just do different major crimes.
That's all I've seen for the films.
That was me too. Good.
Wow, dude.
We're good, dude. Moving on to the part of the show where I show you what I got for Blu-rays. Not a huge week this week. Well, I picked up Neighbors 2 came out, so I picked that up.
Neighbors 2.
Again, also funny, this was called Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising. It's just called Neighbors 2 now. Like, they just took that whole, maybe that's what the box office disappointment was about, because it said Sorority Rising.
Weird.
They do that sometimes, though. They'll just change, like, the Live, Die, Repeat thing. Like, they do these weird title changes when they release them on Blu-ray. I found this movie just about as funny as the first one. I didn't like it as much. I found it a little disappointing, but it was still funny enough for me to rewatch it. I know I'll check this out again soon. And then I picked up Stephen King's It. I know I just picked this up on DVD, but I went to go watch the other day, and it skipped. So I was like, well, I could just get the DVD again, and then I saw this. It just came out, and literally today. It's $8, and I plan on watching this before Halloween. We talked about this earlier, but I'd never seen the second half, so I want to watch this marathon, the whole thing, and just watch this before the new film comes out and before Halloween. I feel like it's a good little fall movie.
Halloween.
But yeah, that's all I picked up on Blu-ray this week. Let's talk about some news and trailers, Jamie. Hit me up.
Horror films. Oh, fucking Christ. The Bye Bye Man trailer. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
I'm so tired of these fucking movies.
Yep.
It's some bullshit. Don't say it, don't think it. Don't say it, don't think it. They say like fucking a million times in the trailer.
It's sinister. It's like just like Sinister.
It ripped off the Nightmare on Elm Street soundtrack.
Did it really?
The score, the first one. It's like ding 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 ding. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Damn.
People. But it really fucking sucks.
Yeah, this looks pretty terrible. It's like 5 of those jump scares in the trailer where it's like not moving and then he's moving. It's so stupid.
Oh.
God damn them.
He's in a photo. Watch out.
See, I thought when I first read The Bye Bye Man and I saw the poster and whatnot, I thought it was going to be a movie like about a Slender Man type thing, which, by the way, they're making a documentary about those 2 little girls who, like, stabbed that other little girl.
Really?
About Slender Man and that whole phenomenon and whatnot.
Okay.
That shit creeps me out.
One scary... This scares me, like, kind of like how Seed scared me in a way. We need to fucking stop forgetting about this shit and focus on it, like actually solve this problem. Mm-hmm. The trailer for Morgan Spurlock's new documentary called Rats.
Oh.
It's about the rat infestation that's kind of sweeping the world. How there is an alarming rate of rats in this world. It's kind of like, if we don't take care of it, they're resisting our like poisons and shit now. Like they're mutating at a faster level. And it's getting all fucking creepy. And it's a really creepy trailer because it has real like creepy shots of creepy fucking rats. But nocturnal animals?
Yes.
Tom Ford, who did A Single Man.
That's with Colin Firth, right?
Yeah, I was mixed up with A Simple Man.
Me too, yeah. This has a fantastic cast.
Yep.
Amy Adams, Jake Gyllenhaal,
Laura Linney,
Michael Shannon.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, so basically is about Jake Gyllenhaal and Amy Adams were married. They're now divorced and have a very strange relationship.
Yeah.
And he has written a book that basically describes murdering his ex-wife, and this very dark tale, and it starts to mimic her life. You can't really tell this from the trailer. I had to actually look up the synopsis to know what the movie's about.
Where'd you learn this?
No, exactly. So that's what it's about. He's a writer. He writes a book that's eerily similar to their life, and it features very violent things. So she starts to freak out about what the hell, like, what does this mean for her and whatnot.
And he called her a nocturnal animal.
Yes.
And she was kind of like bitchy.
Yep.
Or
Just kind of crazy. Yeah.
And that's the book. So his book name. So I don't know. Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, Michael Shannon plays a detective or a sheriff or someone in search or pursuit of someone. With, but it's very ominous trailer. I love the way it's shot, and this is a fantastic cast.
This is November 18th, limited release. So they're really trying to go for Oscars in this one.
Good.
So the character of Brian O'Connor from Fast and Furious may come back. Not recasting, but they're asking the family, I guess, to maybe mention him. Not just leave him be, but mention him in the world somewhere. It's kind of stupid.
That's weird.
Why bother?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're going to recast him and use his brothers or something, I don't know. It just seems like a really weird dick move in a way.
That, and I'm going to just... with all the respect I have for Paul Walker, I feel like these movies I know they stress the whole family thing. We're family. He says it about 500 times a movie, Vin Diesel.
Family.
I just feel like this doesn't need to happen for car racing movies.
Yeah.
Like they have so many goddamn characters in the first place. They just that's fine. The ending of Furious 7, you could not possibly do a better ending for a goddamn car racing movie than they did with that. James Wan hit it out of the park with that. You can't top that. So just leave it.
Yeah. Why sully that freaking?
That's your last. Yeah, that's your last image moments with him. Just leave the. It was a great send off. Yeah, exactly. Without you, my friend.
Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence awake in this 120-year expedition to a new world on a huge colony ship, and they wake up 30 years in, so they're kind of fucked, and they live by themselves. Like they're trying to figure out why they were awake in the first place, and the ship's kind of falling apart, and they gotta do something. So it's, in a way, this tale has been done a lot. I think we mentioned this before. Like Pandorum was similar to this in a way. Not that they woke up early, but there's a lot of weird things like that are similar to this. But it looks so beautiful. Mm-hmm. Great cast. I think Lawrence Fishburne's in it.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne. I like the concept of this, and I like also why he says towards the end of the trailer, like, there's a reason that that you're awake or whatever. And it says actually in the synopsis why. Which is strange. Like he says that, but I was gonna say, don't read the synopsis because it tells why she specifically is awake.
God damn it, man! That's really all the news and trailers I have.
Okay.
A lot of trailers.
Well, let's move on to our topic of discussion this evening, Jamie.
Which is
best ensemble casts. So, what are some casts in some movies that we don't have to go into depth. We don't have to talk about every single actor in there, but let's just rattle off some titles that have some badass casts.
This one's. I'm gonna start off with almost a cheat. At the time, it was like, holy shit, these characters together. Goodfellas.
Yeah.
I mean, De Niro, Pesci, Liotta, Paul Sorvino.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like a lot of people, but it was like kind of like when Casino or Heat came along, or Heat especially with De Niro and Pacino. But it was the first one of those films where it's like, holy shit, these bigger names are coming together. Mm-hmm. I would say bigger. I mean, Pesci wasn't huge then.
Neither was Ray Liotta, I guess.
True. Fuck, never mind. Let's just scratch it.
No, because we're able to look back on that movie and say, like, I'm looking at this as though the talent, retrospective, the cast per quality actor and whatnot. You look at Scorsese; he's also got The Departed, fantastic cast of just great actors, a couple of DiCaprio, Wahlberg, Michael Sheen. I always do that. No, Martin Sheen. Wait, Martin Sheen?
Martin.
Who was the other guy we were just talking about? God damn it. Martin Sheen. Charlie Sheen's dad. Yeah, Martin Sheen. Jack Nicholson, Matt Damon, Alec Baldwin, Anthony Anderson, the heavyweight.
Oh, yeah, dude. He was.
But yeah, no, and also Cape Fear, Scorsese. Sure. I look at also a lot of directors specifically pick these ensemble casts. Another one's Wes Anderson. You look at Grand Budapest Hotel, Life Aquatic, Royal Tenenbaums. Like he's able to a lot of the same character actors like Owen Wilson, Bill Murray. They'll come back here and there, but. Especially look at something like Moonrise Kingdom, Edward Norton, Bruce Willis, all of those people that he's also brought into his world of actors.
Ray Fiennes for.
Oh yeah, fantastic. So great cast. Great cast.
I haven't seen any of these, but Ocean's 11 in that series.
Yeah, I mean,
never seen them.
Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Matt Damon, Julia Roberts, Catherine Zeta-Jones. You get like some Andy Garcia, Scott Conn, Casey Affleck.
Look at him go.
Crazy amount of actors in that movie. And, the first one's really good, Steven Soderbergh. The 2 and 3 are kind of, forgettable sequels, but the first one's a pretty good caper. I was thinking of some other directors that do that is Tarantino with the Django Unchained, Pulp Fiction.
Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight, yeah.
Damn.
I mean, you look at every single one of those actors have been fantastic in something else.
Walton
in some
Goggins,
regard.
dude.
Oh, God, Walton Goggins needs more work, dude.
I want to see Vice Principals.
That show with Danny McBride.
Yeah,
that looks good. The recent film, actually, that won Best Picture, Spotlight, I think had a fantastic cast. Because even the smaller actors that aren't in the forefront, like Liev Schreiber and Stanley Tucci and Michael Keaton and a great Rachel McAdams, Mark Ruffalo.
At the time, I was intrigued by this cast. It was like a comedy, like get together, interesting kind of thing. 30 minutes or less.
No, you're right. Yeah.
I was like, wow, and Aziz Ansari, Jesse Eisenberg, Nick Swartzen, and Danny McBride. That's a good combo.
Yeah.
Like, all right, that's fine. But there's a lot of comedy ones, like Sausage Party had a lot of people in it.
This is the End.
This is the End.
40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
One that I really liked was Tropic Thunder. That brought Robert Downey Jr.
Tom Cruise,
Matthew McConaughey, Jack Black, Ben Stiller. Great cast. Yeah, comedies are especially known, I think, for being able to bring in a lot of people. One of my favorite casts of all time was Magnolia.
Yeah.
Fantastic group of actors. Philip Seymour Hoffman is one of those character actors I see popping up in so many of my favorite casts. Like, he was also in Almost Famous, which I love that cast. That's got a great cast.
One of my favorites, Rat Race.
Rat Race,
comedy,
dude.
It's just like a cavalcade of people that you've never thought would be in a movie together, and now they're in a movie together.
Yep.
John Cleese, Rowan Atkinson from the British side, and then fucking Seth Green and Breckin Meyer from that era. It's just bizarre.
It is. One that has now sadly become, I think, but there's so much backlash towards this movie. I've always liked it, and I was happy it won Best Picture. It's Crash.
Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic cast. I love that movie. I know a lot of people kind of hate that movie now because of the years of people just shitting on that movie, but I liked it when it came out, and
one of Brendan Fraser's best works.
Brendan Fraser. Well, I mean, the Fraser can star in anything, and I'll watch it.
Sure.
He's a talented. He's America's sweetheart.
I keep seeing these little ads. Why Hollywood won't cast Brendan Fraser?
Yeah, or Sean William Scott.
Or like
my heroes from the '90s.
Ashley Green. I'm like, she's barely in anything anyway.
She's barely in anything.
Great idea, somewhat mediocre execution. The Expendables franchise.
Yes.
I mean, had that come out like 10 years prior, it would have been huge. It would have been one of the biggest fucking movies ever made. But it kind of came out a little too late.
I'd say probably maybe 20 years earlier.
Well, no, that would have been the prime.
That would have been prime,
I think it was, the 90s would have been a good time, or the 2000s, to make fun of it. Yeah, it was an okay time. It was cool to see all those people together.
Apocalypse Now, another movie that, again, you're watching through like, is that Lawrence Fishburne?
That's Harrison Ford?
yeah. And Martin Sheen again in his younger days. Yeah. Marlon Brando.
Who's that guy?
He was this actor back in the day.
You mean Superman's father?
Yes. A more recent one, I thought Drive had a really great cast. We talked about Bryan Cranston earlier, but Ron Perlman, Oscar Isaac, Christina Hendricks,
Albert Brooks,
Carey Mulligan, and of course Ryan Gosling. Really good.
Who's that guy?
Inception, man.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Inception has a lot of Nolan. Yeah, films. The Batman movies. I mean, you look at those casts and they're phenomenal. But I think Inception, when you get DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Ellen Page, really great cast. Yeah, Mark O'Kane. I failed you, Master Wayne. And Usual Suspects. Last one.
Yep. Although a lot of them didn't go further than they should have.
The Baldwin?
Well, yeah, Steven. I mean, Biodome was awesome.
It was the pinnacle of his career.
I liked it as a kid.
Of course you did. Again, this is one of those topics that is so subjective. We missed a shit ton. It's not even worth talking about how many ones we did miss, but we would love you to comment below. Let us know what we forgot, what movies you are shaking your head. I'm looking at a Ghostbusters poster right here. We didn't even say Ghostbusters.
Man, yeah. Back then, that was like comedy gold.
Yeah. That's Jamie.
That's Brandon.
And we need movies.